guitar gently weeps. Look at the floor, and I see it needs sweeping. Still my guitar gently weeps.
Welcome to the second hour of Authentic News right here on RBN Live, the 16th day of April 2025. With his reports, I'm telling you, Jews with the religious right to genocide, Trump and Netanyahu plotting Gaza's future without Palestine, Wickoff saying Iran must eliminate its nuclear enrichment program, 15 U.S. airstrikes hitting Yemen's Merit province, U.S. considering backing a ground offensive against the Houthis in Yemen. I'm forced to conclude this guy fits that depiction of a slang term we had in the Marine Corps. 20 pounds of shit in a 10-pound sack. I'm disgusted with Donald Trump. JP in Chicago, join the conversation, my friend.
Man, a little bit. How you doing, Jim?
Well, you can tell.
You might have a little cold.
Not very happy with this guy I supported so strongly for all these years and voted for him 3 times, and he's betraying us for Israel. Disgusting.
Your ass down. Yeah, TDS is a known cold that most liberals get. I didn't get alternative right-wingers to get it, though. Trump deranged syndrome. You're going to alienate half your audience, brother. I'm just saying, you're going to alienate half your audience with this diet tribe. It's a diet tribe.
JP, I'm just telling you, Trump has wandered so far off the reservation, he has betrayed us. And I can't be responsible in reporting what's going on if I don't call it as I see it. I get it, JP.
Right.
We've all got to adjust our sides. Go ahead.
Remember what I said? Remember about that interview we did about targeted individuals? And, Peter should know this because his Air Force that's headed it up in Colorado. And they're the ones targeting people, hitting them with DEW weapons. And you got to watch your heart, Jim. Just saying. You got to be careful. You don't want. I know guys that have had my mother, people that have had heart attacks. They get stressed out about things, and that's when the stress. You got to watch that. Just saying, because I love you, brother.
I appreciate that, JP. And when are you going to get up here to Madison so we can go out and have a steak dinner together?
My twin nephews are born on my birthday next month, so I'm due. But I still got this court fiasco. I got to have lawyer money to go up there because my head's in a noose. I appeals court coming up, and I don't have the money to pay for a good lawyer, and I have a crappy lawyer who's no good, and that's where I'm at, Jim. I'm trying to make up money, and I don't know if I'll be able to make it by next month.
If you can get up here, I will take you out to the Longhorn Steakhouse. You got it?
Okay. I got a story, though, about prophecy, and this is important. Now, my mentor, Major Anderson, was the first Marine on the beach at Nagasaki after the nuclear bomb. And you know what? That shook him. It shook his consciousness. It led him to become a Christian Scientist. He was my mentor, led me away from the military and war. I would have been right in Iraq. I would have been like Pete Hegseth going to war being a Zionist, but I didn't. He kept me away from that. And he taught me some important things, and a lot of it was Mason teachings. I'm sorry. And go back to Gabriel. Gabriel's correct about a lot of things. These Masons control. It's a shadow government, and it's them at the top with the banker elite. But the thing is, there was a prophecy by Pike, Albert Pike, and I have his book, Dogma and Garm, Dogma, and all that stuff he wrote years ago. But he talked about 3 world wars, and specifically the last world war would be between Zionism and Islam, radical Islam, and this is what we're seeing.
How could he come up with this so far in advance. It just bewildering. I cannot imagine how he could have anticipated. Tell me, what's going on here?
He was a mystic. Now, this is a thing. Quantum physics and time and space isn't what we think. It's not like what Einstein says. There's quantum reality, there's flux, and you're an expert at this stuff, quantum physics. You wrote books about it. But the thing is, the future is in flux. But what my trainer, Major N. Dames from Army Intelligence, one of the lead remote viewers, Project Stargate, which is a real project, started in 1972, that still exists today, believe it or not. Probably classified. I can't worry about talking about it, but according to a guy, he mentioned there were six units still operational today. I don't want to mention his name, but what he mentioned was there are fluxes, but there are nexus points. The nexus points are those big things in space and time you can see thousands of years away, like John of Patmos, who was tortured in a salt mine, and he was able to go outside his body and see the future. Now, there are prophets that can do this, and I think Albert Pike was pretty advanced. He was able to do that, and they see these nexus points. So like the Mark of the Beast, World War III, I think these are inevitable outcomes that we can't avoid. But we could kind of prolong them. We could push them back. We could kind of fix them a little bit in the future because it's in flux. And I think that's what Trump is trying to do. He's trying to be the negotiator. He's trying to push back World War III. But the sides are already set. And if that's true, Zionism and Islam will kill each other, and there's nothing we could do about it. So getting mad about Trump, I mean, it's kind of ridiculous. If you look at the big picture, if you step back out of your body, look at like a bird up at 30,000 feet, there's nothing we could do about it. And it's just like war today, Jim. And I just did a Wu-Wei report. I'll send it to you. But the reason the Russians are dominating is because of air superiority. And Peter, I'll compliment on this. Without an air force, we'd be nothing. Air superiority is everything. And then artillery. The Russians got both of them. They got 10-1 artillery, and they got air superiority. And then you throw in the drones, it's like they're just anaconda squeeze. They're just manipulating through over time. So that's a fact of war. A fact of war, if you don't have air superiority and good artillery, you can't win the battle. And that's what Zelensky's lacking right now. And I think, in a way, there's inevitabilities in war that we can't avoid. And one of them is that Middle East, between Zionism and Islam, they're both crazy, Jim. They're both Looney Tunes. And I think they should kill each other. What do you think about that? I mean, I think that would be a positive outcome.
I don't agree. I think Mahatma Gandhi may have got closer to the truth when he said he'd reviewed all the religions of the world, and the only one he found to have no redeeming social or moral merit was Judaism. And that's in the forms we find that promote genocide. When you got the Supreme Court of Israel saying that the Israelis are entitled to commit genocide on the Palestinians because it's in the Bible, I tell you, that means this is rotten to the core. Rotten to the core. You cannot get worse than that. So
Bibi's a war criminal. Bibi's a war criminal. He's not going to leave power because he'll go to jail. He knows that. Because half of his party are the Sephardic, and they've been killing off the Sephardic, according to Stephen Ben-Noon. He let this leak out. He don't talk about it anymore. But the Ashkenazi were killing off the Sephardic. They were killing them off with those kill shots, the vaccinations.
You got to appreciate that I have been giving Trump every excuse in the book. I have been a strong supporter as far as I could go, but now I can see he is Israel first. He's not America first. If he's doing anything for Americans so it can be beneficial to Israel, now I'll tell you, that's how it is. America is a tool to be used by Israel for its benefit, and Trump is facilitating that. This is what is going on.
I disagree, and this is why I think Trump he's a player, he's a showman. He's going to have two sides of everything. He's trying to keep us out of World War III. He's pushing it back. If Kamala, and I keep going back to this, the Newlands, the neocons, the people, the Blinkens, they were running things. Obama, they were running things ever since they got rid of Trump. And Trump is back in power now, and he's got to play the game with them because they own everything, Jim. They own everything. Wall Street. Look at Larry Fink. He owns 80% of the S&P. That son of a bitch. He owns it all.
When you have Witkoff saying Iran must eliminate its nuclear enrichment program, which is completely violative of international law, because it's a peaceful use, they don't even have a nuclear weapons program.
I disagree. I think they blew up their first nuke in 2008.
Say again?
They blew up their first nuke in 2008. They've been blowing off nukes. I've been keeping score on this for a long time, Jim. When they launched those the hypersonic missiles, there was a 2.5 earthquake in one of their reactor mines in the mountains. It was a 2.5 earthquake right then and there, and we knocked out their president. Okay, remember the president? He got taken out in a helicopter accident. There was a hurricane or tornado that came out of nowhere.
Yes.
I think we did that. And we killed their generals, and we're whacking all their guys in Syria and over there in Lebanon. We were taking out their meetings. So, whether this is just information I got off the internet, who knows? But I think it really happened. I think we've been at war with these SOBs. And the Zionists were trying to start World War III. They were trying to do it with Zelensky. But Putin was too smart. Putin was too smart. I got to give Putin credit for where credit's due. He's a judo master and he's a chess player. And if it wasn't for Putin being patient and reserved, I think the neocons would have started World War III with Biden, and we would have been stuck.
Look, I don't have any problem at all with you or any of our other members here disagreeing with me. I'm just calling it as I see it. And I greatly appreciate it. And mark my words, you come up here, I'll not only buy you a steak, I'll buy you a gin and tonic or Long Island iced tea. Believe me, that's what I'm up for. Long Island. Thanks, JP. I really
Hey, brother, God bless you, and check out LifeWave. You need that. You need that for your help.
Get your ass up here so I can take you to the Longhorn. Let's see, Don in Arizona. Don in Arizona, join the conversation. Don.
Jim. Hello, Jim. Is there still a place where people can donate money to your legal fund? I don't see it anywhere. You don't have that anymore, legal fund?
Actually, there is. GiveSendGo.com/funding Fetzer. GiveSendGo.com/funding Fetzer. That's very kind of you. I haven't mentioned it. I got 4 appeals. Go ahead.
Let's play a game of Stump the Professor. I'll give you $10 if you can get the answer to this question. Okay, it's related to Gaza. All right, you ready?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Who is the head of the United Nations World Food Program?
Off the top of my head, I do not know. So I guess I don't get the $10.
Well, I'll give you $10 for participation anyway for trying. It's Cindy McCain, John McCain's widow. She's the head of the. A lot of people don't know that.
I just looked it up. Yeah, Cindy McCain.
Yeah,
I don't know if
she
she was.
Realize that. How did she get that job? She got that job because she helped. Biden gave it to her because she helped with the steal of the state of Arizona in 2020. Plus. You might ask yourself the question, what the hell is she doing in that job? What does she know about food? She knows nothing.
Yeah.
Her dad was in the liquor business. But you might think, well, since you're a conspiracy theorist, by your avocation is you like to look for conspiracies and stuff. Well, think about it. Why did they put this lady, the head of the widow of the neocon, head neocon, in charge of food, where she's helping to starve She's participating in the starvation. If there was somebody, you could say it's just a figure. She's just a figurehead there. It's just an honorary role or something, but not really. She could demand an interview with Bibi and just tell him, hey, you let the food in. And another thing the United Nations could do, it gets me when they say you can't, the food is not allowed in. Well, in order to do your job, then you got to have some 50 caliber machine guns. You got to have anti-tank missiles. You got to have arms. You got to have some mercs, hire some mercenaries to put on those trucks, and lay down a lot of 50 caliber machine gun fire, and then you'll get through those checkpoints and you'll deliver the aid like you're supposed to. That's the only way you can do it. So they're saying, well, we can't do it because tell me why they can't use weapons. They can. Why can't they? The UN is getting killed anyway by Israel. Israel is killing UN personnel anyway. If they don't have weapons, they have a right to defend themselves. They have to kill the Israelis.
See, the deal is it's a violation of international law to attack these healthcare workers. They're supposed to be immune. They're supposed to be neutral. It's the best IDF that is slaughtering them. They're killing everyone they can get their hands on. It's just a disgrace. Just a complete disgrace.
They could deliver the food if they just put some. They could hire. UN's got a lot of money. They could hire some mercenaries, some soldiers that know how to fire 50 caliber machine guns, anti-tank missiles, and just blow up the damn Israelis that are blocking the place. And then you could bring it in there. See what I'm saying? And and there's people that call in, like this last caller. He's saying, well, it's inevitable. We can't do anything about it. We can do something about it. We can cut off every dollar of aid to Israel. That's what we could do. Yeah, that's what America could. That's what most Americans.
I thought Trump was going to do that, Don, just as he did in Ukraine. He cut it off to Zelensky, and Zelensky started behaving himself. He could do it, but no, that's because he's a stooge of Netanyahu. Look, it breaks my heart to say this. I have believed in this man since he came down the escalator at Trump Tower. So, my being forced to this grim realization that the guy's not who he is pretended to be breaks my heart.
Well, I voted for Jill Stein this last time, so don't blame me. Of course, that didn't do any good either. People got you either for genocide or you're against genocide. All this talking about, well, nothing we can do about it. Are you for genocide or are you against genocide? That's what everybody has to ask themselves.
That's what I was asking Tom from Florida yesterday. Is he for genocide or not for genocide? I was relieved when he said he was not for genocide. Who in the world can be for genocide? It's the Israeli fanatics and their Supreme Court who believe they're entitled to commit genocide because they're superior to all the other races on earth. So they don't have to adhere to man's law. They're responding to a higher law. Unbelievable. Yeah. Unbelievable.
They're also trying to, this last guy tried to break it down. It was between Zionism and Islam. Israel kills a lot of Christians too. They kill a lot of Christians. They hate Christians. Israel hates Christians, and they'll spit. The Israelis, if they see a Christian in Jerusalem, they'll spit on them, and they'll try to say, well, it's just for our custom,
Schneerson denied he was the Messiah, the Jewish Messiah, and how did he know? Because there's still Christians alive on planet Earth. Let's all absorb that message. Unbelievable, Don. Unbelievable.
Trump is a punk. Call him Trump the punk from now on. That's what I call him. He was never in the military anyway. He wants to fight wars all over the place. He had 70 for him. So I'll let you go. Thanks.
Don, I'm glad you called. I like your call. I like your call a lot. Renee, join the conversation. We're going to hit the break, so I'm carrying you over. Renee, go ahead, girl.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you're sticking to your truth, not trying to keep the audience happy. I'm sorry. That's commendable, and I would have no respect for you otherwise. Yes, it hurts when we're betrayed. And it's hard to realize when Dr. Jekyll is turning into Mr. Hyde.
Hang on, Renee. I want to hear every word.
Here comes the sun. son, I say it's all right.
Go ahead, Renee. Lay on.
A lot of people, people believe in freedom of speech a lot of times only when you agree with them. And there's a lot of that on here. And then, we were deceived. And, you're seeing that. It's like, like Trump said he believed in freedom of speech. And now he's turning out to be one of the worst censors. We have to be able to pivot when we start to see that somebody is turning into somebody different. I wish I knew less about this subject, okay? The thing is, when somebody has shown themselves to be one thing and the mask starts slipping and you see something else, you have to be able to face reality. And I think that's what you're doing, and I think that's commendable, okay? When you get more pieces to the puzzle and the picture changes, you have to face reality. So I really like it. Sometimes, no offense, sometimes I've wondered why it took you so long.
Well, you're not alone. You're not alone, Renee. I have other friends who are just kind of astonished that I've come around on this, but it took a long time to convince me, and just because they had opinions about him that differed from mine didn't affect me. But now I am convinced. I've tried to excuse him again and again. I'm ready to impeach the guy, to tell you the truth, and let's give a shot to Vance. Maybe Vance can do better, because this guy's a hypocrite, a phony, a fraud. He's an Israel first, not America first. I wonder if he isn't just doing some good things to pacify the public while he turns the country into a Zionist occupied territory, just like Palestine. I am really that upset.
Look, and I feel your pain. I've been through this. It hurts like hell, okay? When you liked somebody and you believed in them and they turn into something, it's horrible. It hurts a lot. So I have compassion for what you were going through with this. I really do. And let me tell you, and it's getting ready to get worse. Now, Fox News is lying about all this. Trump and Miller lied about it. They're not telling the truth. Now, this is a shocker. I mean, this is huge news. That very conservative Supreme Court, many of the appointees Trump appointed voted 9-0 they want that little Garcia guy and multiple others that were sent to El Salvador are innocent. They're innocent. Even the Supreme Court voted 9-0. Yeah, look.
Yeah.
You need to fix this, okay? And Miller and Trump on video reversed it in front of the press and tried to make it look like, oh no, the Supreme Court voted 9-0 in our favor. I mean, the lies are getting so bold.
God, that's just awful. Yes, you're right. That's just awful.
I mean,
you're right.
Completely zero. And then Jesse Waters comes out and says, he is MS-13 gang member because he was wearing a Bull sport hat. How many people wear Bull sports hats? I mean, the line, but the thing is, people are so, and some of them call into the show, they're so invested in this belief they can't give it up, no matter how much evidence that comes forward. And so really you're setting a good example for this, because I'm telling you, it looks like I'm following this lawyer guy on, I'm following a couple of them. One's called Hawk Podcast on YouTube, and another one is this guy on the Midas Touch Network, and it's coming damn close to them holding the White House and them in contempt for not following the orders. You see, the Supreme Court threw it back to this other judge, and she is PO'd, okay? And they have to do these methodical paperwork procedures. But I'm watching this lawyer, and it looks like he says, yeah, it's working in the right direction, but she has to do all the documentation and make sure there's no way they can weasel out of this. She has to do it all properly. But the way he says it looks like they're going to be held in contempt for what they're doing to Garcia. Now, there's this other little senator from Maryland, Senator Van Hollen. He actually even flew to El Salvador. He flew over there trying to get to see or do Garcia, but they wouldn't let him see. They're not letting him see him, okay? Well, you have to make arrangements in advance and stuff. But there are people trying to stand up to do the right thing. Because, the irony is on this. There people are all upset about law and order, and we need to get these criminals out of here. Let me get this straight, folks. You are so worried about criminality, and President Trump is, we got to get all these criminals out of here. He has 34 felons.
Renee.
Okay?
Renee, I want you to call back in. I want to take other callers, but I want to talk to you more. I want you to call back in, okay? I'm real glad you called today. I'm real glad. We'll be right back.
Helping anyway. Now these days are gone. I'm not so self-assured. Now I find a genuine mind and open up the door.
I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
You're listening to Republic Broadcasting Network. Real news, real talk, real people. Because you can handle the truth.
Francis in North Carolina, join the conversation, girl.
Well, hello there, young man. Theo, namaste, guten tag, good day, mate, go figure, konnichiwa. Anyway, aside from all that, I got some observations to share with you that I've kind of noted during the show today.
Go ahead.
For one, the aspect that Jewish government is using the Bible to execute the Palestinians and so forth, my observation of that is I thought they used the Torah, not the Bible, and the question is, which Bible are we talking about? Because if it's the Christian Bible, you talk about hypocrisy, I don't know what is, to start with. For people that are of the Christian faith, I would think that would be obscene and blasphemous to be using that as an escape or excuse for executing the Palestinian people, for that matter. So I just wanted to share that thought with you. And of all things that I'm wondering about is, for one thing, to start off with, I have to applaud a lot of the callers here, especially like with Renee. You nailed it, gal. I mean, come on, let's get realistic. It just takes a while for people to actually start using logic on some of the things that they're hearing or learning and so forth, and a lot of people don't. They just simply go with what feels good, and that's it. As far as the aspect that you mentioned about the one shock jab vaccine, whatever you're going to call it, that is being used to subject children and babies with or whatever, I'm trying to recall what the name of the blooming virus is or bacteria that they were using, and so forth, that's only transferable by blood, for that matter. I think the perception I have is that they're using any possible name they can use to create fear in people, to get people to allow them to shock jab their children and their infants with, dare I say, the RMNA DNA shot or whatever it is that they used concocted back during the Corona BS deal.
Yes.
Just another way of doing it to murder them and so forth, and yet they claim, they must already had it. But they're going to come up with anything and everything possible to shock jab your children and your young adults and your elderly, for that matter, to kick them out of this life cycle, for that matter. And one thing I'm trying to figure out, and I hope Jeremy can correct me on this, but when you were talking to him earlier, and you mentioned about Mahatma Gandhi and some other commentary, I could have sworn I heard him say something about commie or something like that, as though he were saying that Mahatma Gandhi was a communist or whatever the case was. I hope I'm incorrect about that, and I hope he corrects that thought that I thought I heard him say. And so with that aspect out of the way, yes, there's a lot of things going on that Donald is doing. And if you may have noticed for some time, I've been calling him by his first name. I've not been calling him Trump or President Trump or whatever have you, because in my sight, in my perception, he doesn't deserve the honor, privilege, or respect of that position. He has done nothing as of yet to deserve that. So as a result, that's how I'm going to keep on referring to him as Donald, and that's it. Especially when you're treating as garbage in light of the Zionist government that you're paid off by to murder other people. Which reminds me of one thing. If he has no problem with murdering these people, and he's supposed to be Christian, what is Christian about ending another person's life? Jesus didn't teach that. He taught about loving your enemy as yourself, as well as preserving life. I mean, come on. I've had enough of the hypocrisy. I've had enough of the hatred. Enough already. We're supposed to be healing people, helping people to survive, and so forth, to better themselves and also grow spiritually. Yeah. What has this got to do with Christianity? Anyway, with that, have a great week.
Thanks, Frances. Thank you. Now we have Cynthia in California. Cynthia, welcome back.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Jim. I appreciate having a chance to call in. I want to mention that your concerns about Trump need to be heightened by the fact that Turner has posted information asserting that there was a hack of 4chan, and it traces back to the Mossad as being the creators of 4chan. And I think he didn't use the term Operation Trust. Operation Trust was a 1920s program in Russia where the Bolsheviks convinced people that the military had a plan and that they should trust the plan. And since Trump has been on board with indicating, this Q thing may be real, blah, 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 it sounds to me like Operation Trust. So I encourage people to look at Hal Turner's website for yesterday's posting on this issue and pray for Hal Turner, because if you out the Mossad, boy, you are really risking your life. So there's that issue. And then I want to mention Greg Hunter. He's a USA watchdog, and he had a man who was interviewed who is asserting as a scientist that there is a dark energy body that has entered the solar system and is interacting with Earth, and that it portends really serious negative geological changes. Your compadre, Robert David Steele, addressed this issue several years ago when Mike Adams had someone interviewed on this issue. And Robert David Steele said, no, this couldn't be. We're going to have 1,000 years of peace and prosperity. There's not going to be anything like this happening. But the man who was interviewed pointed out that they have spent a lot of money building out an infrastructure under the earth, which could be for this purpose of elites surviving, percentage of the population surviving.
Yes.
So
I think there are. Cynthia, I think they've spent trillions building underground cities in the hope they're going to be able to escape the effects of a nuclear war. And it's going to be a short-term solution, but in the end, it's not going to pan out, and they're going to die a miserable death just like the rest of us. Are you there?
Well,
go ahead. Go ahead, Cynthia.
Well, I just wanted your input on that issue because, there was an attack on the Ozarks, the North Carolina Ozark community, and this man was asserting that the safest place in the United States is going to be is the Ozarks if there is this major geological changes, which would be manifested by increasing amounts of earthquakes and volcanic activity. And he actually mentioned 2 instances when U.S. submarines that were running dark ran into seamounts that had not been there before and were not mapped, that apparently arose and they didn't know they were there because they have to have a mapped territory to travel in since it's sonar. So you might listen to what he had to say and see if there isn't that Robert David Steele might have in all of his background and intelligence.
Well, of course, I was a big fan and collaborated with him on 2 different books, one about Sandy Hook and the other about 9/11. He was, in my opinion, a great man. Cynthia, thank you for that. Do you have a final thought?
Well, I just want to say that I've heard Robert David Steele is actually still alive, and so he is a great man.
Nah, he's dead. I really wish he were still alive. Thanks, Cynthia. Alexander in Canada, join the conversation.
Yes,
Alexander.
Yes, hi. So I want to make a couple of points. Yes, sir, I'm really glad that you kind of demolished JP at the beginning because he had no idea what he was talking about on Iran and Islam and all that. So I really appreciate what you did. And Caesar, the thing is, Caesar, he said that Zionism and Islam are 2 loonies or whatever. Caesar, I don't see Islam saying that they're the chosen people. I don't see Islam saying they want to conquer the greater. They don't have the project like the Greater Israel Project and all that. I don't see Islam saying that they're the chosen people, and I don't see Islam talking about the Holocaust, talking about their suffering, like the way the Jews do, and they exploited. And there's a book about this called The Holocaust Industry by Norman Finkelstein, and Caesar, he said that Islam and Zionism are going to go to war. Caesar, that's true, but see, just like you said, the Zionists are going to want to use the United States to attack Islam, and they already did. They attacked Iraq, Afghanistan, Libya, Syria, Lebanon. They're attacking Yemen right now, and now they want to attack Iran. Yeah. And so just like you said, they're using the United States as their front man to do their dirty work.
Yeah. That's right. Battering ram. Right. Battering ram. They say that the Israeli national anthem is "Onward, Christian Soldiers."
Yes.
And, use other people. Like Bush family had the other people's money. They don't invest their own money. They make money off of other people's money. The Israelis want to use the U.S. to fight their wars and die for Israel. I don't buy it. That's a bum deal.
And also, so another thing, do you know that Israel is the richest country in all of Asia? And they're getting the most money, and they're the highest recipient of foreign aid, and they're the richest country in Asia.
Yeah.
And Caesar, and they get the money, and they send it back to the United States, like it's a money laundry operation.
They use it to buy our politicians. Yeah, they use it to buy our politicians and control journalism and the media. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, they send money back to AIPAC and to ADL, and they buy politicians, and now they want to suppress they want to make the anti-Semitism law, and to put people in prison. And
Alexander, hold on. I just want to tell Renee I want her to call back in. Renee, I'm not done talking with you, girl. Please call back in. Go ahead, Alexander.
You see, sir, I understand that the JP was happy that Trump won, but see, sir,
if you went by his campaign, he was a great candidate and he was going to put America first, but his behavior, his conduct in office has contradicted all of that.
Yeah, exactly. See, sir, I totally agree with you. I'm just saying that JP, he thinks that he still has hope about Trump. You see, sir, just like you said, he's completely turned upside down. Like he got much worse than we all thought, and he's no longer America first. And Cesar MAGA now means make Adelson great again. Adelson meaning Addison's wife, like William Adelson.
Great again. Yeah, got it. That's good.
And Cesar now now we have to call Trump President Trumpstein. It's no longer Trump; it's Trumpstein now.
Yeah.
And in the United States of America.
It's good, Alexander. Good stuff. Much appreciated. Give me a final thought.
No, Cesar, I'm done. You can go to the next caller. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. JP wants in. Go ahead, JP. Give us a rebuttal. Go ahead. Say your piece.
Oh, I definitely got to respond to that. Islam, I've gone. Man, Caesar, you Caesar. No, Caesar was a white man. Alexander was a white man.
Respond to the argument, JP. Go ahead. Respond to the argument.
Alexander was a white man, and Caesar was a white man, not Muhammad. Muhammad was a bastard that grew up in a cave that's slaughtered and killed by the sword. He spread his religion, enslaved women, and the women in Sharia law have no rights to this day, and that SOB is back in that religion. He's a retard. He could barely even speak English. Caesar.
I don't know, JP. I got a good friend who's converted, and
was white.
It doesn't. Hey, you're going off the deep end here, JP. Don't do that. Thanks. Let's go on. Hey, Booba, Scott Rapp, join the conversation. Are you there? Did we lose Bubba? Oh, okay. Sandpiper of the Carolinas, go ahead. Join the conversation, Sandpiper.
How about you, Jim? Everybody, I just want to remind everybody for the Easter to visit Israel, land of the Christ killers.
Yeah, appreciate it. That's what we need to hear, ex-Gentile. Now, Sandpiper. Yeah. Thanks for that. We needed that. So I don't have Bubba. I don't have Renee. Wow. Let me see what I got here. I do like, Candace isn't taking any shit. I like that, of course. Oh, here's one. Is Trump rolling out the red carpet for the Israeli extremist Ben Gvir? I missed this story going through him earlier. A Jewish supremacist known for his role in the violent settler movement. Netanyahu's national security minister reportedly plans to meet with Kristi Noem. Few American politicians can claim to back Israel more emphatically than Representative Richie Torres of New York. Since the October 7th attack, Torres has dedicated himself to defending Israel and striking out against those who criticize the war in Gaza, earning him the moniker of Israel's loudest House supporter. These efforts have garnered high praise from Israeli leaders. Congressman Torres reflects our extraordinary ties and true friendship, Israel's defense minister said last year after meeting with the lawmaker. So it may seem odd that when Torres heard Israel's national security minister was visiting Washington this week, he went on the attack. There is no universe in which I would ever grant an audience to an extremist like Ben Gurion, Torres said, adding that he has nothing but contempt for the Israeli minister. We got another caller. Eugene from Ohio. Join the conversation, Eugene.
Thanks, Jim. Yeah, JP sounds like he might have to take some chill-out pills there. He's getting a little out of sorts, it sounds like. Yeah, I know some very fine Muslim people in my day. And
yes.
I tell you, I don't know why a lot of these people, you bring up a subject like that and they seem to get all bent out of shape. I don't know whether they got issues with the Muslims or with Islam itself. But also, I'm not done picking on JP, but seems like he's kind of blind. It seems like it's kind of blind to what Trump's doing. You know, like I've told you before, it speaks for itself. You know what I mean, Jim?
Yes. I do.
Trump's actions speak for themselves, and anybody with a little bit of common sense ought to be able to see that.
Appreciate it, Eugene. Excellent. Give me a final thought. I got a couple others now just trying to get in here. Go ahead, Eugene. I'm real glad you called. Give me a final thought.
Okay, thanks, Jim. Yeah, let's see. I don't have a final thought per se. I just wanted to throw that in there, Jim, and say, and just say one more thing to you. I'm glad you're here for us, Jim. I really appreciate you.
Thanks, Eugene. Much appreciated. Thank you so much. Let's see. We got Guy in Los Angeles. Guy, join the conversation, Guy.
Hi, how are you doing?
Good.
I just had a question. You know, this anti-Semitic stuff has been thrown out, you know, kind of whirly-burly kind of. If the Palestinians are Semitic also, through their language, so how can you be anti-Semitic if you're pro-Hamas?
Yeah, you're absolutely 100% correct. DNA studies have shown most of the Israeli population is not Semitic at all. They're from what is now modern-day Ukraine area. So what that means is, because of their assaults on the Palestinians, Israel is the greatest practitioner of anti-Semitism in the world today. You're exactly right, Guy.
And you know, just to get off the subject a little bit, you know, remember all these drone activities over New Jersey, and the government didn't seem to know what they were and couldn't stop them, and they said that they were, you know, coming out of a base over there that was creating these drones, and that they weren't breaking any laws, and yada, yada, yada. And a lot of us suspected that they were looking for radiation signatures.
Yeah.
I think that's exactly what they were doing, and the deep state's involved, and we know the deep state is Jewish controlled by the Rothschilds.
Very good. Very good.
So,
Guy, I think you're right.
That's my take on it.
I'm glad. Guy, thank you. Call again, my friend. Meanwhile, Jeff in Ottawa, join the conversation, Jeff.
Oh, hi, Jim. Yeah, I don't like the fact that people attack other people the way they speak. It's wrong, okay? Alexander has the right to say what he said, has his own opinion. If you disagree, that's fine to say. Don't criticize the way he speaks. I hear people on here who have unusual speech patterns. I don't care about that. I care about what the issues are. The other thing is, there's a lie going out. He said last week or so that there was somebody, his grandfather or something, won the Victoria Cross named Coleman Clunan. The only person with Coleman in the name who won the Victoria Cross was John Coleman, Coleman, in 1858. Okay, in the Crimean War. Okay, that's stolen valor. I don't mind, and I understand people shoot at a little bit of BS sometimes, but that's stolen valor, and I find it offensive because all of those people who won the Victoria Cross and Congressional Medal of Honor, it's dishonoring them, okay? If it's not true, don't say that it's true. Prove it. And I challenge anybody to find somebody who won the Victoria Cross whose name was Coleman Clunan. There's only one person with the name Coleman, C-O-L-M-A-N, or with an E, and that was that guy. It's a lie. Don't insult
Thank you, Jeff.
I get sick of that. I also get sick.
Thanks for that.
I get sick.
I got to try to.
Okay, one other thing.
Thank you. I'm going to try to squeeze in Misty from Kansas. Go ahead, Misty.
Hi, Jim. Are you there?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I kind of just chimed in when Renee called, but apparently this dude was an illegal, and his wife, she filed, or his partner, whatever they are, I don't know for sure. I sent you the link so you could check it out. But anyways, she filed a protective order against the guy because he had apparently violent tendencies, and he's from Salvadorian. They're saying he's an MS-13. Now, I don't know where she's definitely, now this is on the Gateway Pundit, so I do understand, but, from what I understand, it's not as clear-cut as they're trying to make it out to be.
Okay. We'll have to pursue that.
Yeah,
we'll pursue that and try to
sort
out. I'm glad
you can
called.
check into it.
Yeah, I'm glad you called. Alexander, you got a moment to have a rebuttal. Go ahead, Alexander.
Yes, hello, sir. Sir, correct me if I'm wrong. JP called me and said that then he should be banned. How dare he? How dare he say the man should be like? What did he say? And see, sir, he said Prophet Muhammad lived in a caveman and he killed people and whatever. What's that going to do with anything with what I've said?
Look,
it has nothing to do
with
what I've said.
Alexander, what I like about Islam is it recognizes Moses and Abraham and Jesus as well as Muhammad as prophets. It's a very broad, encompassing religion. I mean, the Jews don't even want a Christian to be alive. I mean, that's a hell of a difference. Thank you, Alexander. Thank you for adding those few words and call again. Meanwhile, everyone, spending much time with your family, your friends, and people you love and care about. We don't know how much time we have left, but you want to use it wisely. And support RBN. Back tomorrow, and we'll continue the fray.